Thank you so much for joining in. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News and the Wendy Bell Radio Network. How's everybody doing? Thank you, and thank you for joining in on this Sunday. I wanted to do this live for a couple of days now, and I waited for the thing to digest a little bit to understand what is going on between the politicians between Mexico and the United States of America. It is a complete disaster on both sides. Complete disaster. First, let me talk about and address the president of Mexico. The president of Mexico has done a horrible job on our country of Mexico. President of Mexico has put our country with 8 cities on the top 10 for violence and homicides in the world. We're number one for cartel activity, number three for trafficking of children, number five for clandestine bearings, and number three for violence towards women in the world, not just in the continent of America, in the world. Our economy, it is horrible. Our health department, it is horrible. It is really horribly managed. Also, the cartel has taken over some states in our country of Mexico. The organized crime and the cartel are the ones that they are corruptibly, taking over the decisions of every government on every state. The Mexican president has lost control of the country, and I have been talking about this for the longest of time. For the longest of time, our country, it is under global narco control. It is what it is, and a lot of these leftist people in Mexico, they don't want to admit that because they always blame the past presidents. The past presidents in our country have been also corrupt and also have been horribly doing a bad job in our country. Not even if you're from the right or the left. In our country of Mexico, every president has done a horrible job. The last great president that existed in our country was Lázaro Cárdenas. And ultimately, after that, you can say possibly Porfirio Diaz in his first 10 to 15 years of president. But ultimately, after that, we haven't seen no other president that has done a good job in our country of Mexico. That is the bad thing about this. One thing, addressing the Mexican president. Now, going with the American president of the United States of America, another incompetent that has done a horrible job to put his priority first to fix his problems. And also, he's using now global words, linguistics. We have been saying this for the past years. Linguistics is so important. And another incompetent, Greg Abbott, another incompetent that now he's giving orders to the country of Mexico of what to do. You have to be kidding me with this, right? And now the Mexican president telling other people in the United States, hey, you know what? We're going to say to them to not vote for these anti-immigrant or politicians that they are against immigrants. Another incompetent. These are incompetent politicians. I do not care if you're a Republican. I do not care if you're a Democrat. These are incompetent politicians. Both of them are incompetent. Greg Abbott, it is incompetent to fix a problem that has been coexisting at his border for years. This mass migration, the left in the United States of America, it is justifying it as this mass migration has always existed and has always been there. That is their justification. No. The trafficking of humans and smuggling of humans, it is an all-time high. It is an all-time high. Not only in the United States, but also in Mexico and in Central America and South America. This incompetent governor of Texas does not know that the trafficking of humans and the mass migration does not start in Mexico, you dumbass. Let me just tell you that. It doesn't start in Mexico. Do you know that the mass migration that you are receiving right now, The majority of them are from Venezuela. So the trafficking starts from where? Incompetent. Starts from Venezuela, from the Darien Gap in Panama, from all the way down to Central and South America. And it ends up in Mexico. I'm not justifying Mexico, but whatever happens in Mexico, it is a problem of Mexico. If you don't want to receive migrants, that is your problem. If you want to close your border, that is your problem. If you want to secure your border, that is your problem. But do not interfere in international politics in the decisions of Mexico. Mexico, whatever perception you have of Mexico, it is a corrupt country. It is a country owned by the cartels. It is a country that has done a horrible job for his people and for their indigenous and poor people. Yes, but it's a sovereign nation with laws. It is a sovereign nation with laws. You cannot interfere and give orders to another government. Who do you think you are? Who in the hell do you think you are? You are a governor. You have had this problem for the longest time. And all of a sudden, when elections come, again, they use the immigration issue. They use migrants for their own agenda and for their own, basically their own narrative to win an election. To win an election. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, Mexico is trafficking a lot of children. They're trafficking a lot of people. They're trafficking a lot of drugs. They're trafficking this. They're trafficking that. I have said this before. There's always a buyer. It is a really simple math in physics. It is simple logic. Let me put it like this. It is really simple, the logic. So if you have a distributor of narcotics in Central and South America, if you have that, and if you're distributing narcotics through all Central and South America, and your number one purpose, it is to distribute it to a country that is buying it, where is the problem? Do you know how many traffickers of children, how many traffickers of organs are in the United States of America? How many child molesters? How many pedophiles? Do you know that? Let me take my headphones off. Let me take my headphones off. Somebody saying simple math, Mexico can shut its borders down. Why are we supposed to do your dirty work? Why? So you're now telling us to what we need to do? You are a sovereign nation also. You are a sovereign nation also. This problem exists from Central and South America. It is not from here, from Mexico. And everybody's forgetting the number one problem. Everybody's blaming, and somebody's saying, why are you blaming Abbott? All this catastrophe, it is because of him. All of a sudden now, before elections, now he's trying to fix it. What happened 1 year ago? What happened 2 years ago? What happened? Where was he? Was he just, laying back watching a Dallas Cowboys game? Where was he? And then you have the other incompetent that I'm going with that. President Biden. Number one, he is a collaborator of the global compact of migration. A lot of people get into their feelings because I'm criticizing a Republican. I told you I'm not for a political party. I'm not a Republican and a Democrat because I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm a Mexican and I'm a foreign citizen to your country. Reporter, a bilingual reporter and broadcaster and journalist. If you like it, stay. If you don't like it, get out. It's real simple as that. We're speaking facts and we're speaking the truth right here. Everybody wants to be, pandering to their narrative. Yes, Abbott, you're doing a magnificent job, Abbott. Yes, Abbott, close the border, close the border, close the border. Yes, you're pandering just to make you feel good. That's what you want. You're pandering. It's not happening over here. Everybody's forgetting. They're forgetting that the United States, under Barack Obama, they were collaborators of the global compact. And this has nothing to do, and I am not going to get into Biden is not my president. Biden is an illegitimate president. I'm not getting into that. In your country, as it is right now, sadly for your country, the 46th president of the United States, it is Joe Biden, whether you like it or you don't like it. Joe Biden agreed with Kamala Harris to be a collaborator for the global compact of migration. The global compact of migration offers asylum and refugee seekers to enter your country asking for refugee and asylum. So you are asking migrants to come, and you know that you had a problem. This goes for incompetent Abbott. This goes for him. Look how his logic works. So you have a problem at a non-port of entry. The non-port of entry, it is Eagle Pass and it is Del Rio sector. Right? That is your non-port of entry. You're having thousands and thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands, and now you're exacerbated over millions. So you have all these thousands coming in to the non-port of entry that is Eagle Pass and Del Rio. So you've had this problem for how many years now? I believe. Let me just wait. I will wait for people to tell me how many years have you had this problem? How many years? I just want to ask, how many years have you had this problem with a lot of migrants have lost their lives trying to cross to a non-port of entry that is Eagle Pass and Del Rio? How many years have you had this problem? And then not only that, this was under Abbott. Not only that, but also Abbott had a gigantic problem last year where he had more than 15,000 people from Haiti underneath a bridge in inhuman conditions. When you had that incident, you can imagine on a logic of a brain of a person, you will do something with the Biden administration. If the Biden administration does not listen to you, you will do something on your own behalf like you are trying to do now, right? So you have this control flow coming in consistently, uno tras otro, one by one, consistently coming in. After the 15,000 migrants from Haiti in inhuman conditions underneath the bridge, you can imagine the logic of Abbott saying, John, I think we have a problem right here. The problem is that they're coming into this non-port of entry. Who's telling them the river? Do you know? Where is this problem coming from? It's coming from Mexico, sir. No. But these migrants, the majority of the migrants are not from Mexico. The majority of them, all of them entirely, are from Central and South America. Where is this problem coming from? Who do we need to talk to? How do we resolve this problem from the root so people will not suffer through these conditions and migrants will not die as they are migrating? So when they get to the port of entry of the United States, they will be helped to tell them this is the legal pathway or this is the documented pathway. Can we resolve that? No. You know what incompetent Abbott does? He lets it flow still. He continuously lets it flow. And people start coming in continuously through the river. Migrants are continuously, unfortunately, dying in the river. In the river consistently. And people in the White House, they're saying the border is closed. How? Holy cow. Where? The border is closed, really? So you have this border that is inflated enormously. And everybody in the whole continent, everybody in the world, every migrant in the world, this is another incompetent comment. And I'm sorry. Hold on. It was not you. And I'm sorry. I'm not trying to call you out. But this is where you, when I don't understand, where do you don't have no solutions? This is your solutions. Stop it at your southern border of Mexico. So Mexico should do your dirty work. That is what you're telling me. That Mexico should do your dirty work. Mexico is a worker for you, right? So we are your servants. We should obey what you're telling us, right? Because your president is inviting hundreds of thousands. So we supposed to do your work. And it is Mexico's fault. It is not that they're passing by Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Costa Rica, Colombia, Venezuela, all these countries. No. They're not. It is Mexico. That is what you're telling me, right? Is that how your brain works? I'm sorry. I'm just asking. This is how bad this is. This is a problem that it could have been resolved years ago. And I have been saying this. There is no process. What is the process? Even the Global Compact on Migration of the United Nations says documented, orderly, and peaceful migration. Documented, orderly, and peaceful migration. Orderly. And even not only that, we know that a lot of these countries in Central and South America, they are in the Global Compact. The problem is that no country it is putting order on this mass migration. And a lot of people are dying because of this mass migration. And now all of a sudden, now we are trying to fix it. Let us send all the migrants to Mexico and we are just going to let them do our job. Meanwhile, we're going to put the military and we're going to do all this and whatever happened before. Elections are coming. November's coming, right? Elections are coming and November is coming, right? Now, all of a sudden, now you want to use the migrant topic. This is what, disgustingly, the Mexican president said on regards. This was, and let me, before I translate this, this is what leftist governments will do to your country. Progressive leftist governments will do to your country. This is what progressive left. Even Joe Biden has said the liberal New World Order. The liberal New World Order. Somebody say number one, not Abbott's job. Whose job is it? For God's sake. Whose job is it? This is the Mexican president talking about, and I will describe, and you know, a lot of people tell me, Oscar, why don't you listen to the Mexican morning conferences? I do it for health. For health. You know, one of the journalists in south of Tapachula, Juan Blanco, we have talked about this, and we don't listen to this guy for health. It affects our mental health, really, to listen to this incompetent imbecile. I'm sorry. I'm calling it the way it is. This is a president that does not have a brain, that is allowing the cartels and the leaders of the cartels to have humanitarian rights, also the ones that dismember bodies, the ones that are trafficking fentanyl all across, you know, our country of Mexico and ultimately into the borders of the United States. This incompetent individual of AMLO, I don't listen to him because of mental. I don't want to get affected for health. I really do not listen to him. And it is so, oh my God, it is the way that he talks. It is a tactic. A lot of people have asked me about this. Why does he talk so slow? And it is a tactic. It is a leftist communist tactic. They talk that way for you to understand every word, and every word. It is really penetrated to those people. They just want to listen slowly and get the words inside your brain stuck for every year and every moment and every second and every hour. It's why they do it. Somebody says, so AMLO should grow a pair of cojones, and the government tell the government of Guatemala and Belize and Mexico. Are you listening or not? We are in this global compact of migration. Sadly, we are in the global compact of migration, which it is not doing correctly the job. You are also in this global compact of migration. I'm going to get into that. Let me just translate this video so you guys can understand. And I am going to get into some points of view of this video. Listen to what he has to say about Governor Greg Abbott. A journalist starts speaking about Abbott's. She asked a question, and this is what he said. 5 minutes and 37 seconds of this first clip.
De esa decisión del gobernador de Texas, Greg Abbott, que ordenó emitir una orden ejecutiva para que la Guardia Nacional y Seguridad Pública de Texas pueda.
What do you think about Greg Abbott putting an executive order because sending the National Guard to the border?
Devolver a los inmigrantes sin documentos.
So they can return the migrants without documents
a la frontera. Ya hubo
to the border.
Un posicionamiento anoche de Relaciones Exteriores, pues señalando que no se puede entender esto sin considerar las elecciones en Estados Unidos.
We cannot move forward without this, without international press saying that this is considered to interfere with elections. It has to do something with elections, sir.
Y también pues delineando que la ley migratoria solo es una facultad del gobierno federal.
And also just saying that also the migration law, it is governmental faculty. It is on the federal government faculty
Estados Unidos.
of the United States.
Presidente, su posicionamiento.
What is your position about this, Mr. President?
Y también cómo va a actuar o qué medidas.
And how are you going to act, and what measures are you going to take?
Va a tomar el gobierno de México.
What is the government of Mexico going to do
ante esta decisión del gobernador de Texas?
With this decision of the governor of Texas?
Pues ya se pronunció la Secretaría de Relaciones Exteriores. En efecto, él se está extralimitando.
Yes, the Secretary of Exterior Relations already talked about it, and in effect, Greg Abbott is limiting himself.
No le corresponde legalmente.
It doesn't correspond to him legally
tomar esa decisión.
To take that decision.
Es algo que tiene que ver con el gobierno federal.
It's something that has to do with the federal government of the United States. Wow.
Sin embargo,
however,
como hay elecciones
are coming.
En noviembre.
In November, elections are coming. However,
entonces buscan, ¿no?
So they look for a way.
El sensacionalismo,
the amarillismo. They look for senseless
piensan que
nationalism
así
and also fake news and and journalism to damage the image of migrants.
van a tener simpatía
And they think that they are going to have sympathy.
los de un partido o
One
los de
political
otro.
party and another political party using sensationalism.
Con nosotros
With us,
no van a contar,
he's not going to have support from us
porque
because
aun cuando somos respetuosos
although when we are respectful also
de la soberanía de los países,
of the sovereignty of every country, holy cow. We are respectful for the sovereignty of every country, holy cow.
pues no vemos bien
We don't see
que haya campañas antimigrantes
and we don't see good on our behalf that there's campaigns, anti-migrant campaigns
con propósitos electorales.
with electoral purposes.
Lo considero
I consider it
inmoral.
immoral.
Politiquero.
Cheap politics.
Entonces, no creo yo que a los
However, I don't believe that.
migrantes
I don't believe that the migrants
que han ayudado,
that they have
han contribuido
contributed and built
a la construcción de ese gran país,
that they have helped contributed
Esa
to
gran
build
nación.
to build that great country. However, I don't believe that the migrants that they have helped build that great country.
hay migrantes de todo el mundo,
There are migrants from all across the world over there.
de Italia,
Italy,
bueno,
the
Estados Unidos le dio refugio
United States has given refugee to
a perseguidos de todo el mundo,
persecuted people from all across the world.
a libaneses, a judíos,
People from Lebanon, people from Jewish communities, Jewish people.
desde luego
Also,
a nuestros connacionales,
also to our
también de
fellow
pueblos del
Mexican people.
continente americano,
A lot of countries from the continent of
todos
America,
lados,
from
de
all across the
Asia.
world, from Asia.
pues les agrade esa política antiinmigrante.
And and
Es
it is
una
and
aberración.
it is aggravated that they are creating this political maneuver, anti-migrant political strategy.
Y nosotros no estamos de acuerdo con eso.
And we are not agreeing with that.
Y ya lo he dicho y en su momento
And I have said it, and in this moment I have said
a
we are going to
repetir
we're going to repeat again.
más. O sea, si hay un candidato
If there's a candidate
o un partido
with political party
que maltrata a migrantes,
that
y
political
maltrata
if there's a candidate with a political party that is discriminating migrants
a mexicanos,
to Mexicans,
vamos a pedirle a nuestros paisanos
we are going to ask our fellow Mexicans,
que nos ayuden allá
to help us over there
para que no se vote
so they cannot vote for this political candidate.
por esos partidos ni por esos candidatos.
For those political...
Que no...
este güey está bien baboso, hijo de la chica. Ay, Dios mío, ¿por qué nos diste un presidente así, cabrón? Ay, Dios mío santo, qué coraje da este cabrón, hijo de la chica. Ay, cabrón. We will ask our Mexican people to not vote for a political party or political candidate in the United States of America if they are anti-migrant.
olviden lo que se dice en la canción de Rubén Blades.
Do never forget what they say on the song of Rubén Blades.
El que no quiere a su patria,
Whoever does not love their country
no quiere a su madre.
does not love their mother. Holy cow. My God. First and foremost, a lot of people are saying, and there were a lot of comments on basically on a post that it was done by my manager. Thank you, Michael, for the copies. Thank you so much. Buy me a copies on the bottom link if you guys like to contribute to Independent Reporting and Travel Fund. And this is where I'm going. This right here. I will ask a question because everybody's criticizing. I'm not defending the Mexican president. He's an incompetent imbecile. For everybody to start, I am going to ask a question. I'm going to ask a question to my audience. How many times the United States, and this is a question, a legitimate question, and I want everybody with honesty, take away your Republican hat, take away your Democratic hat, take away your independent hat, take away your liberal hat, take away your classical liberal hat, take away your conservative hat, take away your liberal hat, take away whatever progressive liberal hat, take away that and be a normal human being. We are normal human beings, but just be a citizen for just once. Be a citizen. I will ask this question because a lot of the people are saying, none of your business. Why you're talking about us? Why are you saying that what we should do? Why are you continuously, asking us what to do? I'm going to ask this question to my audience that is watching right now. With all respect to my audience, how many times the United States has infiltrated and has been involved in foreign elections? In a foreign country. That's your answer. So you have now the audacity to contest a president that is asking, he's doing wrong. He is doing wrong to say this. He's doing so wrong from saying this. But you're the last one to speak about getting infiltrated and also getting involved in foreign elections in a foreign country. You're the last one to speak about this. How do you justify this? Number one. Number two, he's asking and he's provoking. He's asking and he's provoking to all migrants and to all people that they are documented and they have been legally in their stay in the United States of America to not vote for anti-migrant politicians. May I remind you, Mr. President of Mexico, your own constitution of Article 33 of the Constitution of Mexico. May I remind you, Mr. President of Mexico, Article 33 of the Constitution of Mexico says no foreigner can interfere in international politics or in a political issue in a foreign country. Your own country has an article on your own constitution that says that you cannot get involved. People that are coming into your country cannot get involved in international politics. And you are doing exactly the same into another country. How in the hell is this logical, sir? You are the head chief of the executive order, the executive power. And you do not know the content, the Constitution? You are telling another country to not to other people, migrants, that I don't know which are you referring to, because a lot of migrants that they are crossing right now, to the country of the United States of America, they're not eligible, sir, to vote. What migrants are you talking about? What migrants are they talking about? Don't let me just get into this. Do you know how many CIA agents have sit down with the cartel? Do you know how many times agents from the DEA have sit down with the Sinaloa cartel and the cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación to just arrange the trafficking of drugs? Don't let me get into this. Don't let me get into this. Get the hell out of here with this. Going back to the topic. So now you're telling another country what to. So what kind of migrants are you referring to, sir? What kind of migrants are you referring to, sir? You're referring to the undocumented migrant. They don't have a legitimacy to vote in the United States. You know that, right, sir? Because they're not citizens born in the United States. And the Constitution of the United States says that you have to be a citizen to vote in the United States. I believe that it says like that. And in Mexico, a Mexican citizen is the only one that it can vote for a political party or a political candidate to run for political office in a country of Mexico. What are you talking about then, sir? First and foremost, you're violating your own constitution, sir. Does anybody have, if you have time, when you finish this live feed, and I will read a comment from my manager that is so important when I have conversations with my manager when we are on a live feed. I like to hear the comments of my manager, but I'm going to try to read something right now. And it is really important. It's really important that I read this. Really important. Let me see where I have. Right here. Where are you? It's too long. Where? Give me something quick. Come on, give me something quick. Says, to all foreigners that they do not possess qualities and determines to Article 30 of the Constitution in Mexico, you cannot interfere in international politics. Do you know what you're doing right now, sir? Do you know what you're doing? Which migrants are you referring to? This is how incompetent leftist politicians and right-wing politicians as Abbott, they do not have a clue where this problem generated from. This is the problem. And now this president wants to talk about that whoever mistreats immigrants, do not vote for them. May I remind you, Mr. AMLO, Mr. President, may I remind you the catastrophes that are occurring right now in Tapachula? How the own Institute National of Immigration, it is abusing the system corruptibly to make thousands and millions of pesos out of the transportation of immigrants to the north border. May I remind you that how the cartel, it is involved on trafficking and human smuggling into the borders of Guatemala with Mexico. May I remind you how much trafficking of drugs, cocaine, and fentanyl are crossing from the borders of Guatemala late at night to Mexico, the border of Tapachula, Motocintla, over there in Chiapas. May I remind you that how many migrants have died under the government Mexico's hand Do you remember 2021, where more than 57 migrants died in a tractor trailer crash in Chapa del Corso? Have you remember, or do you remember how many organized crime groups have been dismantled, that they traffic migrants and that ultimately they kidnap migrants for them to be released? Do you know how many trafficking of children it is occurring over here in Mexico, sir? How many trafficking of organs, of children? You know, the abuse towards women? You know that you are the contingency, and also you are the biggest bottleneck in the whole world that is called Tapachula, and you're creating a catastrophe of migrants because you don't have a documented border, a filter that it will actually create a better pathway for whoever wants to migrate with a legitimate case of asylum and refugee. Do you know that, sir? Do you know that you are actually, this is every leftist, people. Every leftist, it is this. Whatever they preach, they project of what they're doing. This is a leftist tactic. They are not honest. And also right wings like Abbott, they're not honest. All of a sudden now Abbott wants to grow a pair and now wants to basically do his job to secure, not close, to secure a border and to instruct immigrants to where to go so they can ask for asylum or refugee, for a documented asylum and refugee. Now it is your time, now that elections are coming. And now you have this president that is saying to migrants in the United States of America to not vote for candidates that they are against immigrants. Which migrants are you talking about? The ones that they have been living in the United States? The ones that they're Hispanic, that they were born in the United States? Or which ones? Because migrants that they're not documented, sir. May I remind you, the Constitution of the United States, sir. They cannot vote in the United States, sir. So what are you referring to? To create an idea, an ideology on the Hispanic and Latino community in the United States. I did a video yesterday, and I will do this real quick. I will do this real quick for every Latino that is out there. Escúchenme bien. Escúchenme. Meanwhile, we are thinking as Latinos that the only thing that we can provide to that great country of the United States, and whatever country that we migrate, Canada, Europe. Meanwhile, we are thinking like a leftist, like a minority. We are only going to provide minority labor. Meanwhile, we are thinking like they are trying to oppress the leftists and the Democrats in the United States. They oppress the population of Latinos because they make you think and they make you believe that you depend on governmental social programs, that you can only be a gardener. They're going to get you a job at a cheap man labor, construction. You're going to work at a restaurant. You're going to work this. If you think this way, you will never be a leader of the world. You will never be a leader in that country. Because we have the same capacities. If we are going in the right way, we're having the same capacities to be leaders of the world. The Latino community, it is the strength, it is the power of that great country of the United States of America. It is the one that sustains the cheap man labor. So when we still think that we can only provide cheap man labor for that country, you're going to be a cheap man labor for the rest of your life. And you're not going to be a leader. This is not only for Latinos. It is for all the people in that country, great country of the United States of America. If you believe on leftist policies, they're going to oppress you. You feel harassed. They're racist. They're narcissists. They are transphobic. They're homophobic. They're xenophobic. They're pronoun phobic. You're a white supremacist. You're a white imperialist. You are not woke. You are not all this stupidity. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're a fearmonger. You're a Q-naughty. Oppression. Do you remember, Latino, when you used to work on the other side? Let's say Mexico, and you used to make 1,000, 1,200 pesos a week, and you were running away from fear. Do you remember that? Do you remember when you used to make that money and look at the other side of the country and say, for God's sake, I wish that I can be in that country so I can make a lot of money and create a better infrastructure for my family? Do you remember that? So when you cross the border, now you feel oppressed? Get the hell out of here. Grow a pair. So AMLO, who are you preaching to? My main goal is to say, who are you preaching to, AMLO? Which immigrants? You're telling migrants that they're not legitimately, legally capable of voting. So you're telling them to not vote for these people? Which people are you telling them? When you have a president, and this is what my manager has said emphatically, and I almost forgot, and thank you for reminding me this. One of the most biggest things on that debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, it is that Joe Biden said that it's okay to search the border. Search the border. He said it. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're a conservative. The leader of the country of the United States of America, the one that has the executive power of the United States of America, said that it was okay to search the border. He said it. I didn't say it. So when you have that, what do you think they're going to say? Even Mr. Stephen K. Bannon has said it. When we have been doing multiple broadcasts, he has said, I don't blame the migrants. I don't blame these people. Because he has said, they're telling you that it's open. They're telling you that you're going to come in. They're telling you that you're going to have a huge opportunity to enter the United States without a process. So what are you going to do? You're going to come. Who it is creating this problem? And then you got incompetent governors like Abbott that all of a sudden now, let me fix the problem. No, ahora sí ya. No, espérame. Hace 2 años no teníamos un problema, pero ahorita sí lo tenemos, es grave. 2 years ago, we didn't have a problem. Now we have a problem. It is aggravated problem. Look at this other video. This is the other video of this fantastic statement of this guy, man. Holy cow. I don't even know where or how in the hell it got to this point. It's 5 minutes and 37 seconds of this video. Let me read a comment from my manager before I move on. It says like this. It says, what if the U.S. federal government will actually follow the U.S. laws? This is a really good comment. Listen to this. And when we finish this comment, give it a round of applause for my manager, man. She's doing a fantastic job. What if the U.S. federal government would actually follow the U.S. laws and not use catch and release and show the U.S. deport non-asylum cases, sending them back to their own countries, not Mexico, so they can just walk back in? Actually close the loopholes. That is the number one thing. Loopholes where they are using fake marriages and fake matrimonies and children. We have seen it so many times, and it is registered under the United States Customs and Border Agency files. Not only that, says actually close the loopholes, and the president of the United States not have inviting them to search the border. That is his statements. Joe Biden said that. Will the mass migration continue into the U.S.? Of course it will not continue. Imagine if the policy of Miss Marsha Blackburn, of the senator of Tennessee, that is End Child Trafficking Act now, to all the adults, men or women, that they're using a child that is not there to obtain the political asylum, they're going to go to the federal system, or they will be punished to be deported and never return back to the United States. Will that be a policy of obtaining your thoughts? Will that be a good policy to end abuse towards children? That it has been massively happening around the globe with immigration? Don't get me wrong. Our legitimate cases, everybody has the right to migrate. I'm a migrant myself. Everybody has the right to do it. Everybody has the right to migrate to a better country and a better way of life, better infrastructure. There are legitimate cases of asylum. Yes, they are. But the process, it is all done upside down. That is costing lives. and is causing statements like this guy right here. Let us go and see this video. Where am I at? Right here. Let us go and hear this guy out. Another statement, 5 minutes and 35 seconds.
Tienen orígenes mexicanos. Muchos. Porque Texas pertenecía a México.
Texas has a lot of Hispanics and also it has a lot of Mexican descent because Texas used to be Mexican's property. And that is a reality, whether you like it or not. Mexico used to own Texas. Texas used to be Mexico's. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much. And partner, thank you so much for the coffees. Matthew, Missy, Princess, thank you for the coffees. Sophie, thank you for the coffees. Buy me a coffees on the bottom link. If you guys would like to contribute to an independent reporting and travel fund, we're going to be traveling soon. This is going back in history, people. Do not get into your feelings. Oh, my God, Oscar is saying that, oh, my God, Texas used to be Mexico. I'm not even lying. Go back in history. This is history. Go back in history. It says right here that a lot of Texas citizens are Hispanic descent or Mexican descent because it used to be Mexico's property. And it says right here another thing.
Y en toda la Unión Americana hay mexicanos.
In all the American country, you have Mexican descent people.
38 millones
38 million
de origen mexicano.
of Mexican descent.
38 millones de personas de origen mexicano.
38
Gente
million.
trabajadora, buena.
38 million Mexican descent people that they are in the United States. Good people, working, hardworking people.
Que no debe ser maltratada.
That they don't have to be mistreated.
Ningún migrante.
Not even one migrant. What migrants? So you're telling me, AMLO, that all 38 million people, what kind of migrant are you referring to, brother? I want to ask you this question. Listen to me. What kind of migrant? Because there is the migrant that migrates through like what is happening right now. And there's 38 million that they are located, that they have migrated, entered the country to the United States. They're already documented in the United States of America. Which quantity are you talking about? This is how these kind of words, linguistics, is so important. It will cause a gigantic problem. This is going to cause a gigantic problem.
Y yo creo que
and I believe that this right here
aplica para
this is applicable for
todos los migrantes
to all the
de
migrants
país.
Of whatever country. It's applicable to all migrants of whatever country.
Texas,
specifically in Texas.
Hay políticos de origen mexicano, hay políticos de origen cubano, hay
Specifically in Texas, there are politicians of Mexican descent, there are politicians of Cuban descent.
Políticos también de origen asiático.
Politicians of origins of Asia.
¿Y qué van a estar apoyando?
I mean, what they're gonna start supporting Abbott?
Partidos o políticos
political parties,
inhumanos,
inhuman political parties,
retrógradas,
inhuman political parties
que
that
están pensando
that they're thinking on
en muros,
they're taking
y
on
en el
walls
uso de la fuerza, y militarizar.
To use military force. Let me remind you, sir. Let me remind you, sir, that the National Guard in the south border of Tapachula has been continuously oppressing the migrant population. The Mexican National Guard has been the one that has been beating up some migrants bad. Also, the Institute National of Immigration has been beating up some migrants bad in Mexico. And that also the authorities in Mexico have to do a lot with the trafficking of humans. Before you start speaking on another authorities, you should look into what is happening in your country, specifically with the authorities that they are taking advantage of migrants. I will suggest that, sir.
cuando lo que se tiene que pensar
When we need to think,
es
the first thing that we need to think is
en
on
la unidad
unity,
y la fraternidad
Fraternity.
universal.
He uses fraternal universal fraternity, that is a language of a Mason. He is a Mason. For everybody that does not know, Mr. Andrés Manuel López Obrador is a Freemason.
Que no está en la Biblia,
That is not on the Bible,
que hay que proteger
that we need to
al
protect.
forastero, que no hay que maltratar.
Oh, it says on the Bible that we need to protect the poor. We need to protect that one that doesn't have anything.
Maltratarlo.
Doesn't the Bible say that we need to
Y
protect the one
muchos
that is mistreated?
son evangélicos o católicos.
And a lot of them, they're evangelistic, they're
¿Y por qué no
Christians, they're
cumplen
Catholics. Why they don't comply
con las
with?
escrituras?
Why don't they comply with what the Bible says?
¿Y por qué esa hipocresía?
Why that hypocrisy?
Ese doble discurso.
Why that double standard?
Ni más para sacar votos.
And more to just have a political agenda.
Es muy vulgar
That is really vulgar
hacer eso.
to do that.
Y no tiene fundamento legal.
It doesn't
Además,
have a legal fundamental,
porque no les corresponde.
legal foundation, because it doesn't
Es como
correspond to
si
him.
aquí
It's
el
like here.
gobernador, ¿de dónde? Porque me van a decir, cambia de ejemplo.
It's like here talking about Obrador.
El de Sonora,
Let me change the example. I'm not going to put myself on as an example.
Es amigo nuestro. El de Sonora. Dice, no vamos a permitir que entren los estadounidenses.
It's like saying we're not going to allow the United States citizens to enter our country.
Va a hablar de
a Sonora.
To Sonora. It's just an example.
Pues no puede,
We cannot,
porque esa es una facultad
because that is
del gobierno federal.
that is a faculty of the government,
Toda la
of
política
the federal
migratoria.
government. To all the immigration politics are from the federal government.
Pero aunque es una obviedad, lo
Although,
hacen
although it's a double standard thing,
porque pues ya nos tienen hablando de ese asunto, por ejemplo.
because now you
Ya
have
lograron
us
su propósito.
talking
Lo va a
about.
hablar con Biden, presidente, y saber si también en el sentido de su próxima
Yo estoy
reunión.
seguro que
Are you going to talk to Biden? What are you going to tell Biden? Are you going to be sitting down with Biden and talking about this?
el presidente Biden no acepta eso.
I'm sure that President Biden does not accept that. Of course, he's an incompetent like you. President Biden does not care about how many lives you have lost in the Darien Gap. How many lives and migrants they have been lost. Okay. How many migrants have lost their lives around the whole continent? He doesn't care. It's exactly like Alejandro Mayorkas. Alejandro Mayorkas does not care also. And what is Abbott preaching about? He's also a hypocrite. I'm just saying the way it is. Abbott is a big hypocrite. Now, all of a sudden, he is for Christian values, and he is for border protection, and he is for secure the border, and he's for, let me just tell how the process is. Let me just tell, the hell out of here. He's a hypocrite. This is how a lot of Republicans look bad. When you are criticizing a Democrat, and I have criticized strongly Democrats because they're radical, because they are radical progressives, and therefore liberal agenda, that there is against God's values and all and family values and all of this. But also when you have a Republican like Abbott that it needs to grow a pair and do things in a process and speak well and legitimately understand what he's saying, you come out and say, the hell with it, this, and that, when elections are in November. You shouldn't have fixed this problem from a long time ago. A long time ago. Somebody saying not an Abbott fan, but better than Beto. Who's comparing Beto? Beto's not even in a vicinity to become a Beto is not even in the vicinity to be a politician. Oscar, Abbott was working on the border wall when Trump resigned, and the Biden administration put a halt to it. Wow. So the only solution to protect your country was a wall? Have we not talked about this? If you're talking about immigration, do you know how many loopholes they exist in the immigration law? So a wall, well, it's one of the solutions to have a limit line, right? But ultimately, it is the number one solution. We know that. We know that the globalist compact of immigration has a lot of loopholes, and a lot of people are taking advantage of asylum laws, right? And refugees laws, because a lot of them, they are not legitimate cases, and a lot of them they are. So what is so this is the number one thing. He has been doing so much for us Texans, so much for us Texans, so much. Is that your statement? Thanks so much, Miss Jan, Jerry Lee, Tammy, Melanie, Eva, Mary, and Elizabeth. Thanks so much for the coffees. Also, Suzanne, Alice. Thank you so much for the coffees. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. So I'm going to stop the video here. And I am going to show something that is really important before I go. And I will read it. Really important. Really, really, really important. For people to understand what are we talking about here. How this is so wrong in all levels. How this is so wrong on all levels. This has been a problem for the longest of time. It is not a problem only in Mexico. It's not a problem only in Mexico. This problem started in Europe. Do you guys remember when the mass migration of people from Africa started arriving to Europe? And it had a lot of irregularities. And you have a lot of migrants that they have said a lot of. And I have my first episode of the documentary of the 15,000 migrant caravan is going to be coming. I already finished the first episode. It is around an hour and 8 minutes of this last caravan. You guys have now the possibilities to become a subscriber in Facebook and to become a member in Facebook, and also to shoot me some stars. But also to all subscribers, you are going to be the first ones to see this video. It's going to be put out there for subscribers first, and then ultimately it's going to hit to the population, to the audience, to the general audience itself. But my first episode of the 15,000 migrant caravan, how it originated and how it got to 15,000. The first episode is going to be 3. First episode is going to come out in the next coming days or possibly a week. It is already done. Now it has some direction situations and also some editing that we need to fix it, but all content, it is all put into place. It's all put into place. Now, when you see that episode, you will see some migrants that they're talking about how irregularities and non-filters are affecting mass migration and how filters need to be put on every border. So for people that they're not a member or a subscriber at Facebook, go over there and be a subscriber, or go and be a member at Buy Me a Coffee also, or a subscriber at Buy Me a Coffee, and it is going to be shoot to you. First thing that I want to show, this is according to your immigration law. This is according to your immigration law. I will read some fractions, some paragraphs according to your immigration law. This is your law. It is not me making it up. It is not me typing it. It is not me trying to make something up. It is not me just trying to fix it. And I just came one morning and said, like, this is what we're going to push on the American people's throats or the Hispanic and Latino throats. No, this is not me. So this is what asylum is, according to your law. It says right here, asylum is a protection granted to foreign nationals already in the United States or arriving at the border who met the international law definition of a refugee. The United Nations 1951 Convention, since then, and 1967 protocols define a refugee as a person who is unable to or unwilling to return to his or her home country and cannot obtain protection in that country due to the past persecution or a well-founded fear of being persecuted in the future on account of race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group or political opinion. Congress incorporated this definition into the U.S. Immigration Law and Refugee Act in 1980. So we are almost 32 years from them of this immigration law. Number one, what is immigration? Number two, what is the asylum application process? There are two primary ways in which a person may apply for asylum in the United States: the affirmative process and the defensive process. Affirmative asylum is a person who is not in removal proceedings may affirmatively apply for asylum, though U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, a division of the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and the United States Customs and Asylum, USCIS. The asylum officer does not grant the asylum application, and the application does not have lawful immigration status. He or she is referred to the immigration court for removal proceedings, where he or she may renew the request of asylum, though the defensive process and appear before an immigration judge. Defensive asylum. A person who is removal proceedings may apply for asylum defensively by filing an application with an immigration judge at an Executive Office of Immigration Review, EOIR, in the Department of Justice. In other words, asylum is applied for as a defense against removal from the United States. Unlikely, the criminal court system does not provide appointed counsel. Number three, credible fear. What is that? So individuals who are placed in expedited removal proceedings who tell the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents that they are feared from persecution, torture, or returning to their country, or that they wish to apply for asylum should be referred for a credible fear screening interview conducted by an asylum officer. If the asylum officer determines that the asylum seeker has a credible fear of persecution or torture, it means that that person has proven that he or she has a significant possibility of establishing eligibility for asylum and other persecution under the Convention Against Torture. The individual will then be referred to immigration court to proceed with the defense of asylum application process. If the asylum officer determines that the person does not have credible fear, the individual is ordered to remove. Before removal, the individual may appeal to the negative credible fear decision by pursuing the truncated review process before immigration judge. Credible fear. Reasonable fear. These are options for refugee. Individuals who re-enter the United States of America unlawfully after a private removal order, and non-citizens convicted of certain crimes are subjected to a different expedited removal process called reinstatement of removal to protect asylum seekers from summary removal before their asylum claim is heard. Those in reinstatement of removal proceedings who express a fear of returning to their country are afforded of a reasonable fear interview with an asylum officer. To demonstrate a reasonable fear, the individual must show that there is a reasonable possibility that he or she will be tortured in the country of removal or persecuted on the basis of race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. What is a particular social group? LGBTQIS, or whatever it is. And it says, while both credible and reasonable fear determinations evaluate the likelihood of an individual persecution of torture if removed, the reasonable fear it stands and is higher. Let's go to another one. How long does the asylum process take? Overall, the asylum process can take years to conclude. In some cases, a person may file his or her application or pass credible or reasonable fear screening and receive a hearing or interview date years in the future. As of September 2019, there were 339,836 affirmative asylum applications pending when the United States Customs and Border. Who was the president at that time? I'm asking a question. (2019) Who was the president? Okay. Let us go back. It says the backlog of U.S. immigration courts reached an all-time high in April 2020 with over 1.17 million open removal cases. On average, these cases have been pending for 734 days and remain unresolved. Individuals with an immigration court case who were ultimately granted release, such as asylum, by February 2020, waited for more than 930 days on average for that to upcome. Illinois and Virginia had the longest wait times, averaging 1,300 days until relief was granted in the immigration case. Whoever is typing Obama that it was president in 2019, what kind of planet? Where do you live? This is why you have a problem. You do not know who was the president on 2019? Holy cow. Holy moly. Those are kind of like things that I wanted to drop right there. Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you so much, Alice. Thank you so much, Mauricio and Rose and Julie for the copies. Thank you so much. Last thing that I wanted to drop by. This is according to the Global Compact on Migration. This is according to the Global Compact on Migration. Before I go, the Global Compact on Migration, the United States is a collaborator of that. Now, in this administration. And it says these are the options as a collaborator that you have to obey by. Protect the safety and dignity and human rights and fundamental freedoms of all migrants, regardless of their migratory status at all times. Support countries rescuing, receiving, and hosting large numbers of refugees and migrants. Integrate migrants, addressing their needs and capacities, as well as those of receiving communities in humanitarian and development assistance of frameworks and planning. Combat xenophobia, racism, and discrimination towards all migrants. Develop through a state-led process non-binding principles and voluntary guidelines on the treatment of migrants in vulnerable situations, and straighten global governance of migration. Global governance, listen to that, including by bringing IOM into the UN family and through the development of a global compact for safe, orderly, and regular migration. So you have a governor of Texas that until now, he just realized that he has a problem. And you have, thank you so much, Evie, for the copies. Thank you so much. And you have a president in Mexico that is actually violating his own agreements and is actually violating his own constitution of interfering in another country's elections. And you have an incompetent governor in Texas who is telling Mexico what to do. Do you know, Abbott, that Mexico is another country? You know that, right? You know that? Mexico is another country. It's not part of the U.S. Not part of the U.S. It's a sovereign country. It's a sovereign nation. Has laws. Whatever it is, if Mexico is a complete disaster of corruption, whatever you want to call it, yes, it's a complete disaster. You're not far away from that. In our country, we call those people, estás lento, mi amigo. Cuando tú vas, ya vienen. You're slow, my friend. You're late to the party, Abbott. And now, because November is coming, let's get the hype going. Let's use the migrant situation instead of fixing the problem. Where is the root by? That is the gigantic loopholes on immigration law, the United States, and have a conversation with countries of Central America and also South America, and also the governor of your other state that is colliding with it is next to you. How can we resolve this? Let's have a talk. From where they're migrating. Do a census, please. Can you do a census? And can you just do a census of how many people from which countries they're coming from? So can you do you understand that the majority of the people that you're receiving right now in your state of Texas, the majority of them are from Venezuela? The majority of them are from Venezuela. So this problem, if you look at the map from Venezuela, before I go, I'm going to pull it up. I am going to pull it up. Right here. This is how close-minded these people are. This is how bad these people look, man. This is how bad these people look. Let me see right here. Let me see if we got it right here. Nope. Right here. Okay. I think that we got it right here. No. Not this one. Let me just pull just one image. Right here. I think we got it. We got it. Let me stop the screen right here and let me press the share. So you will understand from where this problem is coming from. For all those people that say, oh, it's Mexico's fault. It's just Mexico's fault. You got it right here all the way to the bottom. Right? Abbott. Venezuela's all the way down here, brother. They go through, let's say, Colombia. A lot of them go through Ecuador. They land over here. They walk around it because they don't want to go to the Darien Gap. So you got people from Haiti, people from Cuba, people from Guyana also, Brazil, people from Bolivia. I've seen people from all across the world. Venezuela, so they go through the Darien Gap in Panama and Colombia, Bajo Chiquito, and all those places. After that, they go to Costa Rica. When they go through Costa Rica, they land in Honduras. They don't go through El Salvador. They go through Costa Rica, Nicaragua, another country. Then they walk through Honduras. Then they walk through Guatemala. Then they walk through old Mexico. So let me just explain to you this, Abbott, with apples. If you pick up your phone and you Google this, continent of America, the whole continent, you will see where this is originating from. It is originated from an agreement between the United Nations and all these countries on an open border policy. So if you do a status and a geographic of how many people you're receiving on that particular part, Abbott, and you are specifically saying there for the majority are from Venezuela, is it a Mexico problem? Mexico is letting them pass because they're in the global compact of migration. If they get to your border, it is on you if you allow them in or not. Right? Or if they're invited to your country and they're allowing them non-stop from a non-port of entry that is Eagle Pass and Del Rio, Texas. That is your responsibility, right? Because you're allowing it to continue. Right? Right? You're allowing it. Because if you didn't allow it, you will stop it from so many years ago. And you would have done a process to explain how this asylum and refugees taken care of. You don't understand politics, Oscar. The Democrats are stopping Abbott and they're not letting them work and they're stopping everything. They're halting all these operations. Get the hell out of here with that. Stop. You will know how to do this. But no, the only country that you're next to blame is the Mexican people and the Mexican government, which they are complicit, but it's your responsibility because you're in the United States. You have the ultimate decision. Thank you so much, Mimi, for the copies. Thank you so much. Do I explain myself? How's everybody doing? Thank you so much. I extended to 1 hour and 23 minutes, and I am sorry for my manager. I'm sorry that I extended 23 minutes long. It's 23 minutes more passing the hour. I apologize for everybody. We had a stable 300 to 400 people in our live feed. Give it a like to this video on Facebook. Hit that bell button on YouTube. Please hit that bell button on YouTube, and please get that like button on Facebook. Before I go, we are going to be traveling soon, again, to show you guys the reality and the truth with raw and uncut footage of everything that is happening in our borders. Again, we're going to be traveling soon. Also, we're going to be showing you a lot of new things that are happening in some borders and also another borders that we are going to be visiting. Follow me at Facebook as Oscar Blue, YouTube Oscar Blue Ramirez, Instagram Oscar Blue Ramirez, Oscar Blue Team, also Oscar Blue Ramirez Team. Also, there's another Instagram. Oscar L. Blue in Twitter. Oscar Blue Ramirez on Getter. Oscar L. Blue on Telegram. The problem right here is with me that I have a lot of good friends that they are Republican. Great friends, and I call them brothers. Whether I agree with them or I do not agree with their terminology, linguistics, or whatever they use, I love them. They're really good people. They have treated me great, and they're really good people, and I love them. Got a lot of really good people that they have met that they're conservative Republicans, and I extremely love them. And also, I have friends and family members that they're Democrats and they're liberals on the U.S. side. On the Mexico side, I have friends also that they love AMLO and they support AMLO and all that. And I have friends that also support the political party of PAN and PRI, that is the right-wing conservative political parties, PAN. I have friends of all types. The problem right here is when you do not have an open mind to listen for a centrist opinion. This is what I believe. This is what I see. Am I wrong? Am I right? That is my right to know if I'm wrong or if I'm right. That is the only obligation that I got, and I will experience it by watching and learning. I cannot speculate, and I cannot create an idea which is not there with credible evidence that I can say this is not there, and I can illegitimately explain something with a definition of a dictionary and create an idea without knowing the definition. This is my opinion. Your political party, your agenda, I love you for whatever you are. But this is me, my freedom of thought. As I say, Greg Abbott is a hypocrite. He is a governor that does not have, he's not transparent with his Texas people. All of a sudden, already now, he wants to fix a problem that has been exacerbated problem for years now. And now the justification is that he has been halted by Democratic policies. Right? That is the justification. That is what they're going to justify. The pandering to these politicians. It is, oh no, he has been halted by the Biden administration, Oscar. Has been halted by all his obligations. That's why he could not do his job. Wow. Thank you so much for joining in. God bless everybody that is watching. Follow my partner, Real Anthony. I would also follow my colleague and brother, Ben Bearquam, the Real America's Voice News, the voice of the people. Follow him, and also Frontline America, Real America's Voice News. Download the app, realamericasvoicenews.com. And also, you can download the app of Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's free. The app is free. Go and download the app. You can go and download the app, Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's free, and it's the greatest network. So God bless you all. Stay safe. Until the next time, and we will talk in the next live feed. God bless you all. Stay safe, and like we always say, people, peace and love, because always your country's first. God bless.
We're in the middle of everything. They're carrying a child. Look at this. They're carrying a child. Look at this. This is horrible.
Ustedes tienen familia, somos inmigrantes, no somos delincuentes. Somos inmigrantes, no somos delincuentes.
Discúlpeme, oficial. They have encapsulated them. They're pushing. Now they're pushing. Some of them, they're escaping underneath to the ranches. Look at this, man. They're throwing rocks. They're hitting the National Guard officers. Throwing rocks over here.
Gosh, what a scene to see really unfolding here, and having them use that rope so that they're all able to stay together is really interesting to see all this happen, Oscar.
Is number 4 in the world for violence and homicides. Due to this factor, the military was deployed to Tijuana. Entry of San Isidro next door to the city of Tijuana, Mexico. Migrants looking for asylum from Ukraine arrived to the
Roto, señores, las barreras. Ya no los pueden controlar. They have broke the barriers. They cannot control them.